Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorraine County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Good morning, everyone. If you'll please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, everyone. This is the Lorraine County Board of Commissioners meeting for March 13th, 2019. And our inspirational word for the day: you must make allowances for each other's faults and forgive the person who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. And we have a shy dog this morning.
Oh. Good morning. This is kennel number 34, male small breed mix, available today. We have 19 other dogs in the kennel, and we had a lot of calls on this dog because they thought it was Mojo. Mojo, if you know, that was missing from North Carolina, that was visiting here.
Oh.
We talked to the owners. It's not him. So we're still on the lookout, though.
Look at that. Hello. Down. Look at everybody going. Look at that. Face. I know. You like big dogs, huh? Oh, I like all dogs. Okay. Mine was just.
Madam Clerk.
At 9:45, we'll have our first CDBG hearing. 10 o'clock, we have a presentation from Restaurant Week, unless you want to do that now.
We can do, well, why don't we do the hearing first, then we'll do
We
the...
can't do the
Can't
hearing
do the
until
hearing first,
9:45.
that's what I said.
Till 9:45.
I
But we
can
could
do
do
the board
the
business.
presentation.
Okay, we'll do the presentation.
Okay.
So you guys can
Hey,
get
Jen.
back to the office, like you don't have enough things to do.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Jen Kennedy, and I'm the interim director of Visit Lorraine County.
Here we go.
Okay, now I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make it work. I'm going to go through my slides in front of me so my old eyes can see and click through. So please stop me if I get carried away. But I am really excited. This is our third restaurant week. The first two have continued to gather more excitement, been more successful. We've got some new faces this year, so we're really, really excited, and we've actually been continued to grow our audience through Mardi Gras and some of the other initiatives, so we're speaking to a bigger audience this year. So as you can see, we are keeping with the same similar look, but twisting it just a little bit. We want people to be able to recognize our materials, however, for it not to get stale. Of course, Restaurant Week is sponsored by our board here, the Lorraine County Commissioners, so thank you, and Visit Lorraine County. It kicks off March 21st through March 31st. And I actually will put a little note in here and say, I always like to tie ours close to Cleveland Restaurant Week to purposely kind of continue that publicity. And Cleveland Independent Restaurant Week actually scheduled theirs after ours and after seeing our dates right around the same time. So I kind of actually am going to take that as a compliment that they were kind of watching what we were doing a little bit. So what our goals are is what we're trying to do is let people see the great restaurants that we have here. We want people to try a new restaurant. What we're doing is we're offering a really easy entry point to kind of take away that barrier or that intimidation factor, get people in there, 3 courses for $30. We want people to support our own Lorain County restaurants. You don't have to leave the county. In fact, we have people, more and more people crossing into Lorain County. And really continue this great momentum around our food scene and attractions here in Lorain County.
And we always want to reiterate, free parking, which you may not get in our Cuyahoga County next door, so.
Yep, absolutely. 11 restaurants are participating this year, and as I said, we have some new faces and some real unique opportunities. It is 3 courses for $30. That 3 courses is usually some sort of starter, an appetizer, a salad, a soup, an entree, and a dessert. It is Lent, so most of our places have done a really good job offering some meatless option for those dining out on Friday nights.
That looks so good.
Oh, how about that
That
one?
looks even
I'll take that one.
This is my favorite photo that many of the restaurants, we encourage them to submit pictures, and this is from 1833, and this really, I mean, they just really knocked it out of the park with their photography this year, so I really, really love this image. Participating restaurants, we have 1833 in Oberlin, Bistro 83 in North Ridgeville. New to the block here is Black River Cafe in Oberlin. Also new to the scene, we have Black River Tavern in Elyria. We have Cole's Public House in Amherst. We have Columbia Hills Country Club and in Columbia Station, excuse me. And I do have to give a little plug. The thing I like about this is it's closed to members and that they're opening it up to the public just for Restaurant Week. So it is a really unique opportunity to try some awesome food in a really pretty setting. Cork Tree Tavern in Amherst, Jackalope Lakeside in Lorain, Nemo Grill in Avon, Parker's Grill and Tavern in Avon Lake, and Veranda Bistro and Bar in Avon. We've got some good friends that have been with us all 3 years, and like I said, some new faces too. Now, I have all of the specials listed, but I'm just going to kind of highlight them because I'm sure you don't want to get you too hungry while you have a long meeting here.
Did you tell her she had to start bringing us food when she does this? I think you
Like
forgot
they
that
do on
part.
radio stations.
Yes, yes. When we do cupcakes or wings or anything like that, I'll definitely do it. But preparing a 3-course meal this morning,
Not quite.
it might be a little challenge. But if you look at 1833, we've got the lamb, and we also have the roast king trumpet mushrooms with a s'mores tart. And actually, I watched Chef Jim make that, and he had his blowtorch out there or whatever it is, making it. It was really, really cool to see. 1833, we've got the swordfish and the, now this is going to challenge me, mushroom lentil bourgeoisie. Bourgeoisie. So there's a little bit of a French dish, but again, you see something that's Lenten friendly. A Black River Cafe, you have the pork chop, the Faroe Island salmon, or you have a tofu option there. I have a couple vegetarians, so that would be for my kids that are vegetarians. It would be a perfect option. Black River Tavern, you have the short ribs, flourless chocolate cake. You know, you've got the chicken Milanese. So Cole's Public House. One of my favorite salads is that beet salad. You've got the grilled salmon, homemade pudding with shortbread cookies. Columbia Hills Country Club, and I'm really excited about the cauliflower tacos that they're offering for a starter. That's right up my alley, as well as the sous vide aged strip steak, and of course the salmon and some maple pecan bread pudding. So these menus look fantastic. I'm really, really proud of our restaurants for putting together such creative offerings. Smoked salmon from Cork Tree Tavern, rigatoni, chocolate cake. Jackalope, they did the shrimp scampi, the grilled bone-in pork chop, chocolate lava cake. Nemo, we've got the Faroe Island salmon or the braised short ribs and the bread pudding. Parker's, we have sweet and smoky barbecue ribs. forest mushroom chicken, seared salmon, or a filet, or bread pudding, cheesecake, chocolate mousse, your
Lots
choice
of
of
options on that one.
savory desserts there. Veranda, which was a big hit last year, they were new. You have a salad, potatoes, pea and mozzarella salad. You have a naan, beef medallions, seared jumbo scallops, vanilla bean creme brulee, or a flourless chocolate torte. And what we like to do is encourage people to join us and go to as many restaurants as possible. So all of our restaurants are donating a $50 gift certificate, and if you go to one or more restaurants, you will have a chance to win dinner on us. So basically, the $50 comes pretty close to covering. It covers your dinner and possibly close to covering dinner for two during restaurant week. So you'll have a chance to win. If you go to 2 or more, you'll enter to win $100 gift certificate. Last year we had people that went to 3 and 4 restaurants. So people really, really took the time to enjoy this opportunity to get into these new places. As always, we have the Restaurant Week cards that will be given out at each restaurant. When you dine, they sign them, and you turn them back into us. We make it easy. You can snap a picture. You can email it right there. The directions are on it. So we encourage people to try to get dinner on us. And then what we're doing to promote it. Over all of the initiatives that we've done over the last 3 years, we've continued to collect a list of those people that we're talking to. So we're able to find an audience that look like them from a social footprint. So we're doing some real targeted digital advertising. What's worked in the past, what have those people liked, and now how can we find them and continue to do that. As part of that digital advertising, you'll see Facebook, Instagram, and you'll see display. Additionally, one of our favorite things is geofencing, which I think you've heard me talk about geofencing. It's dropping that net over places. In the past, we've actually focused more on restaurants, figuring people that go to restaurants are more likely to participate. This time we're trying something a little different, and we're going to places with high traffic, places in which people spend a lot of time waiting to see a specialist. And they're usually spending that time looking at their phone, opening up Facebook, exploring. So we're going to try a little different tactic in addition to the restaurants, but we've geofenced some pretty big places with the intent to see, how we capture people that are just sitting around waiting. Also, we're doing local radio. We actually already did our appearance on Cleveland Now, which will begin airing next week. Social media posts, not only we do our owned social media is what it's called, which is anything that belongs to us, but we're working with all 11 participating places, developing posts for them so that they can engage with their audience. And we're drawing everybody back to a landing page, which is one page specifically dedicated to all this information so they don't get lost on our website. And of course, we're going to send out press releases and tag bloggers and tag social media influencers. You'll see the window clings, the digital font treatment for the restaurants, and of course, our biggest challenge is the Q&As and scripts for servers. That continues to be a weakness. However, we continue to offer up our services to be there, talk to the wait staff at queue time. We send them multiple emails. So the frontline staff, the service staff, continues to make a difference.
Oh, yeah.
So, what questions can I answer?
We lost the Poros because they closed, right? So they're not on the list?
It was Sapori. Yes,
Sapporo's-
Sapori
It was
closed.
unfortunate. I mean, that gentleman worked really hard up there.
Yeah.
Chef, server, cleaner after hours. He really worked hard. He had good, nice place, but it just wasn't working. And then we don't have the Unicorn this year?
The Unicorn is doing some remodeling, so they were not able to participate just based on capacity.
So that's it. So we have an expanded list this year. I think that's all we lost, right?
Sorrento, Sapori,
I
Sorrento.
don't think they have a lot of
Unicorn.
business from Restaurant Week last year.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
They're just a little different of a crowd, I think, so,
A little more casual.
yes, yes.
Are you seeing a difference with, we always said that the big part of the program here is actually the staff success, the staff actually acclimating the diners when they come in, if they're not aware that it's restaurant week and the specialties that are available. We're assisting in some of that, or are we leaving that up to the restaurants? Or?
We have given them all the tools and done all of the offers to make a difference. I will say some of our old friends that are participating, they have no excuses at this point. And I will say some of the new people, I've been blown away with what they have already communicated and what they've already done. So for instance, I'm going to shine the light on Columbia Hills Country Club. They have already sent an email out to their membership letting them know that they're doing this. So what that does is it helps people also ask the questions to the staff, and the more questions the staff gets up front, the more that'll continue to help that issue. So
I talked to Elyria Country Club too, because we tried to get both of them. A lot of folks don't know they have social memberships, so you can dine at those facilities. Food's pretty good. Elyria was confusing. They had a board that it seemingly didn't get to. I think they're going to join us next year.
great.
But at least we have one, and that's an area of the county we don't have a lot of penetration in, so that's really great down there.
Yeah.
And as it relates to, I know Cleveland has their restaurant week too. Are you seeing some kind of shadowing or mirroring, or is there some kind of competition, maybe not on the record, but are you noticing any activities that seem interesting?
It's too early to tell. Because of Mardi Gras, we started promoting Restaurant Week on Sunday. So it's too early to tell at this point, but when you're Googling it, we're going to be right up there. You hear about Restaurant Week, whichever one you hear, Cleveland Restaurant Week, Independent Restaurant Week, Lorain County Restaurant Week, going to be Googling it, and we're going to have an opportunity to surface there. So I believe that it's going to help all of us, really. If you look at Cleveland Independent Restaurant Week, Takis in Avon Lake is the only one that's participating.
Bistro isn't in that one, the only Takis?
When I reviewed it yesterday, I only saw Takis.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't understand that Cuyahoga has 2 restaurant weeks. They have the Independence, and then they also have the
Downtown.
Cuyahoga does one. But Bistro 83 is in the Best of the West this year. It's a couple categories finishing. So the Best of the West is starting to pick up the west side of Lorain County in that, which is good for us. It actually is, although we have the best of Lorain County, but the overlapping there will certainly benefit us bringing people across the border. And I think they're in 2 categories. They're a finalist this year.
I will double check those categories.
We're also building off the momentum of Mardi Gras week. I wasn't sure if you were going to give us an update on this at this time or a later time.
I was hoping to come back once I have all my statistics in, but just to kind of give you a 30-second elevator speech, the concert I felt was a wild success. We had just a tick short of 650 people there. So it was really, really an awesome fete to the week of activities. We had all of our restaurants, every participating place asked for more passports, said it was a wild success. Some of the stores said that they were a little slower than the restaurants, but overall the restaurants saw a ton of business. They saw a ton of new faces come in. In terms of earned media, which is kind of on the PR side, media that we went out and sent out press releases and stuff, I think that and I don't have a value to that yet, but I think that we garnered more earned media on this than we ever have. We were on Fox 8 television twice. We were on Sunny Side Up, New Day Cleveland, Cleveland Now. We really got into that Cleveland market, which helps us draw people. So, and actually it was fun when I would be saying, oh, I'm working on a big project for work. People say, I heard about that Mardi Gras. So I really feel like it was a wild success. I won't have the numbers in just yet because the campaign concluded Saturday.
Okay.
So.
Good momentum to build off of.
Yes, it was very exciting. So thank you for your support for Mardi Gras. I believe it was a really great win for the county.
The food event with the concert really brought it all together. They were standing outside the door at 5 o'clock.
Right.
5:30 was the soft entry, and I was getting pictures that they were outside the door lining up, and they finally let them in because it was cold, but they wouldn't let them into the food area so they can get them out of the cold at the food event, so.
They had to set up extra tables. I mean, that's how good of
Yes.
a showing.
And it was still short.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I believe we had between 380 and 400 or so at the food event alone. Of course, I like to talk. So as I was talking to people, just kind of walking around, I would say, "Oh, how did you hear about us? How did you find it?" And the responses I heard were the internet. You know, so we're going to be able to put some data behind that. We're also going to be able to cross-reference the people that were there with some of the things that we've done in the past and the college has done in the past to find out how we did in terms of reaching people. But overall, I consider Mardi Gras a win.
Oh, yeah.
Jen, one thought moving forward for some of the shops that, and I saw that as well because I got out to visit a lot of them. A lot of the shops didn't have the same visibility as a food establishment would. And perhaps what we could do moving forward is in the restaurants that participate, if there is a shop within a little geographical area there, maybe we can have some type of a boost or you know, not just the standard poster that we're putting there, but visit the two that are in this area, and it might help to facilitate more foot traffic to the shops that don't have food entries.
Yes, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. And I think the window decorating contest helped a little bit with that as well. But we're going to continue to make it bigger and better every year.
Okay.
So,
Great.
thank you.
Thanks, Jen. Would we like to move into the CDBG hearing?
It's 9:51.
It's 9:51.
Okay.
Okay.
First CDBG hearing, Linda Blanchett.
Now that you're all hungry.
Yeah,
We're
right.
starving now.
Yeah, right. Good morning.
And now we get to the dry stuff, I'm sorry. And I have a cold, so excuse me ahead of time. So this is the first public hearing to identify the Ohio Development Service Agency grant programs that Lorraine County is able to apply for under the Small Cities Community Development Block Grant CDBG program. I speak alphabet soup. That's as much food as you get out of me here. Federally funded program administered by the State of Ohio's Development Services Agency. The county is able to apply for the Community Development Allocation Program. It's around $77,000. That's what we were awarded last grant. The grant is now 2 years long, used to be 1 year. This is allowing us to do some larger projects because you have more time to complete them. It was very hard. Once you get the grant in September, by the time you get your funding at the beginning of the year, you basically only had 9 months to complete a project. So now that the grant is 2 years long, we have more time to complete the projects. Eligible projects are, and it's not limited to these, but these are some of them: the street replacements, water supplies, drainage and sanitary sewer improvements, demolition of unsafe structures, neighborhood facilities, rehabilitation of housing. Currently, we can't do any, we're not able to do any housing rehab with this CDBG grant because we have a CHIP grant, $1 million CHIP grant that we're administering right now. In the past, we have, one summer, we did 35 homes because we did not have any projects. We have not done that since, and I hope we never have to do that again. All of these activities within the allocation, thank you, grant must benefit low and moderate income persons or aid in the prevention or elimination of slum and blight. Some of the past projects we have done and successfully completed, we've replaced a lot of streets in Lorraine County. We've completed ADA restrooms in fire stations, in community centers. We've replaced sanitary sewer lines. We did an ADA compliant street crossing in Oberlin. It was for the visually impaired, so you hear time to cross the street. We have funded the Meals on Wheels. We provided a generator at a senior center, ADA doors at a senior center. Again, we did home repairs. We assisted with the building of the Sheffield Township Fire Station, and we're currently assisting with the addition to the Sheffield Lake Senior Center. We also can apply for set-aside programs. These are competitive programs that we must apply and submit the applications with the grant application. This is the Neighborhood Revitalization Grant for $750,000, Critical Infrastructure Grant for $500,000. Other programs that we may apply for throughout the year, we mention them now, so should a project come up and we want to apply for a grant, we don't have to have another public hearing, which we're saving money because we don't have to publish for another public hearing. Other programs are the Economic Development Loan, $500,000, Economic Development Grant, $500,000, Residential Public Infrastructure, $750,000, Target of Opportunity Grant, that amount varies. Downtown Revitalization is $250,000. On October of 2018, we did, Don and I attended the Township Association meeting, and we mentioned to everyone that please look for projects, send them our way, we'll look at them ahead of time. Crickets. We heard nothing from anyone, so in February, as usual, we do this every year, we mailed out funding requests to all the townships, different agencies within the county. Those funding requests are due back April 20th. Then we will look at the projects, work with people to see if we need more information, if their project is eligible, not eligible. And next Wednesday, the 20th, at 10 a.m. on the 5th floor of this building in room 555. 10 o'clock, we're going to have a CDIS meeting, which is a Community Development Implementation Strategy meeting, to get all of the people who we have sent funding requests to, we have sent invitations to them to, please come to this meeting, let's talk about projects, you have questions, future projects. So that's next Wednesday.
You said at what time?
10 a.m.
I would just ask, through the administrator, that we please issue some directive to our departments. I don't understand why I've seen several situations now where there are meetings being held at the time that the board meeting's being held, and it makes it difficult for the commissioners to be in attendance.
I don't disagree with you. I don't know anything about those meetings, but I'll make myself
I don't know why
aware
we
of them.
would schedule a meeting at the time that the board meeting's taking place, so.
On our end, it's because of deadlines that we have to meet.
And we're accountable to the public, and we need to try to attend these meetings.
We'll take care of it.
Okay.
The second public hearing will be on June 5th at 9:45 a.m. to provide the selected projects that we are going to submit with the application and any set-aside funding applications, the amount of the CDBG funds that are going to be allocated to each project, to identify the national objective for each project, and also include an alternative list of projects if we allocate funds to an unfunded competitive set-aside or an allocation project is determined ineligible. The 2019 program year 2019 Community Development Allocation Program participants, we also have to have a fair housing component activity in the allocation grant, and we also have to complete an analysis of impediment to fair housing, which is due July 1st of 2019. And the training for this application is April the 22nd, and hopefully by then we'll know what our allocation will be for this grant.
Have we published those notices yet
The notice.
for the meetings?
Yes.
They've already been published in the
Yes.
paper?
Okay. Well, that meeting will take place, I guess, but I just don't understand why we would schedule meetings at the same time that the board's meeting. So.
The total allocation, we're only allowed to put up to 15% for Meals on Wheels, correct?
Right.
So do we
right.
have what's the total allocation?
We're not sure.
We're not sure
I'm
yet?
hoping it's at least 477,000.
Okay.
As you know, we've seen a reduction in
Right.
CDBG.
Which reduces the
one of-
Meals on Wheels program,
Right.
unfortunately.
But we've also been able to boost Title 20 funding and to make up some of that shortfall. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to keep Title 20 where it is, or increase the Title 20 to make up the difference, or improve the situation with Meals on Wheels for the various reasons we know that it provides just more than food. It's a well check. It's a company, a friendship check. So it's not because we don't want to put the CDBG money in, but it's only a certain portion, and it's allocated through different resources. But I'll make sure that we continue to work on the Title 20. I just want to briefly, 30 seconds, go over the communities that we serve with CDBG and why we serve those communities and which ones we don't serve and why we don't serve those, please.
Go ahead.
The county, through the Small Cities Program, the CDBG allocation, we serve the entire county excepting for the cities of Lorraine and Elyria, which receive their own funding directly through HUD, and the city of Vermillion, which is split between Erie County and Vermillion and Lorain County, and they work with Erie County on the small cities. So the balance of the county, though, all those communities are eligible, and again, it's based on then the individuals that are being served, either a low mod income area or the individuals that would benefit from the services being provided, or lastly, for the elimination of slum and blight in a location.
Right, I mean, there's been some questions why we were doing sewer separations and the likes up in Avon Lake when there were so many other problem areas, perceived or real, in Lorain County. That's why I wanted to mention why we were in the areas we are.
And for the people that we are working with there, they are all eligible based upon the household income. So it's not available to everyone in Avon Lake, just certain households that qualify income-wise.
And also, that's income, not equity. So, I know, Commissioner Kokoski, you've had some frustration with that over the years, but it has nothing to do with the size of your house, the value of your house. It has to do with the household income. Sometimes people qualify that you wouldn't really expect to qualify, but they do. Of course, pardon me, it was about several years back we picked up North Ridgeville because we didn't have North Ridgeville, and that kind of diluted our allocation a little bit.
Yeah, over the years, we've picked up North Ridgeville, we've picked up the city of Amherst, we've picked up Oberlin. So yes, our service areas continue to grow. The total dollars available to us and to those communities has continued to shrink, and even on just the allocations coming to the county themselves has actually shrunk while we've been asked to do more. So it's been a common theme throughout county government.
And while we assumed those communities, we really actually didn't have a choice. Used to have three categories, which were entitlement cities such as Lorain and Elyria, and then the county, and they were direct. They used to go direct, and then they pretty much ended that category direct, correct?
Yes, now they all fall under the county.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, and we'll address the upcoming meetings.
Yeah, I would
Now,
just
it's-
keep the meeting scheduled for now. I just, I know that we're active board members. We try to attend as many meetings as possible, but we can't be in a meeting if it's being held at the same time as ours. And I know it's always frustrating for this board when something is taking place. There's even some chamber events that take place on the same time that the board meetings.
Yes.
And we'd like to be in attendance, so, but it's already advertised, so go with the meeting. But we just want to avoid that in the future, I think.
We will, and thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
I need a motion to close this public hearing.
I'll make that motion to close the public hearing on the first CDBG hearing.
I'll second.
Mr. Lundey.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, I guess we'll move to resolutions.
There are no investments or appropriations.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundey.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Transfers.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundey.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
There were no advances, no repayments, requisitions.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundey.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Travel.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Bills,
So move.
Second?
discussion. Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorraine County Commissioners.
County Administrator Jim Cordez.
Thank you, Commissioner. I do have a number of potential hires I want to talk to the board with respect to maintenance, crime lab, job and family services, community development. Also, we have 2 pending legal matters, and we're still working on the sale and purchase of a piece of real estate. All of those topics are allowable under the Sunshine Act for executive session discussion, so I'd ask at the conclusion of our regular board meeting, we go into executive session and discuss those matters that I've outlined. Thank you.
Approve and waive the reading of the minutes of February 5th.
So move.
I'm sorry, excuse me, March 5th.
March 5th. Okay.
I'll second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Award contract to Crown Commercial Construction Medina in the amount of $174,000 for Phase 1 alterations to 201 Burns Road, Elyria. 3 bids received on March 6th, this being the most responsive, complying with specifications. Issue notice to proceed effective on or before March 25th and complete said contract on or before May 31st. Authorize the administrator to notify the auditor to release retainage at completion of the contract.
So move.
Second?
Discussion.
Unfortunate the local company didn't get the bid. They weren't that far off, but can't give any preference to local bidders on these types of projects.
It's all how sharp the pencil is, recognizing we went twice on these bids. The first time, we had a lack of bidders because they felt that the engineers' estimates were too low, and the bidders that did bid decided to take a chance, and they bid even higher than the engineers' estimates. So we went back out after we reevaluated the work that was necessary and had the engineers reevaluate all the proposed work, and they did discover some discrepancies in what they had originally cost factored in for the bids. I just had wished that we were keeping it local too. It's unfortunate.
What's the criteria for people to have an open bidding process, to like let them try to outbid each other?
Well, that kind of competitive bidding has been gone for a long time. Once you pass certain thresholds, there's really 2 significant thresholds. One's 50,000, one's 100,000, depending on the type of work. And then, of course, it's the same thing with professional qualifications, depending on whether it's engineering or architectural. The bidding process is in place to prevent fraud, waste, and abuse. And I think they're good, but the other point is it also gives a hard time to our locals who are somewhat smaller than bigger firms, so they can squeeze the margin a little better. We've already challenged the status quo. Not all counties have responsible bidder language like we do. Not all counties require prevailing wage like we do. We're trying to make it so that the locals have a good opportunity to bid, that prevailing wage gives the unionized shops a level playing field with those that are not unionized. And of course, there's also the responsibility of the drug and alcohol testing and so forth that goes on. So we're right where we need to be. We used to have a preference to local companies that lasted a couple of years, and we stood into a few lawsuits on that, but we finally had to fold that program because we couldn't prevail in it. Maybe one day there'll be some understanding that local companies getting the business is good for our economy, and we can do something.
Turns money in the economy.
It's the legislative rules that we're working under. It's not the local rules. Every local rule that we could use to make Lorraine County companies and labor force more competitive, we've exploited those greatly.
Right.
But we're still strangled by the regulations that come out of Columbus because we're a creature of the statutes, and they grant or deny the power for what we do. So hopefully one day somebody's going to look at that.
And I know that's something we do stress in our purchasing in the non-bid situations where we try to buy local as much as possible, whether it's in the county or at least in Ohio or in the region. And because I think government, obviously we spend a lot of money operating this place, and it's best if we can invest our money with local businesses. But when you get into a bid situation, that's the law's in place for a good reason, to make sure everything's done on the up and up. But yeah, it is frustrating when local companies don't manage to receive the bids, but there's a legal process here, and this company's not too far away in Medina, so it's not like we're awarding it to a Michigan company or something, as an example. Okay.
All right. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Enter into participation agreement regarding the natural gas purchase program with the CCAO Service Corporation effective for 5 years.
So move.
Second?
Discussion.
Well,
Sure.
just for a matter of journalization for those that, we've been in this natural gas program, I want to say for about 20 years now, with CCO. We consume an awful lot of resources to operate all the county facilities. We're also in an electricity consortium, gas consortium, everything we can to save dollars wherever we can. We're not always getting the least costly price here, but we're not always paying the most costly price here. So this kind of levels out the peaks and spikes. They buy futures. They try to predict what's going to happen with the gas program. Overall, our evaluation is that we've saved tens and tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars being in these programs. And also it takes out the need for us to constantly go into market and reevaluating our contracts. It's all done through the CCAO, much like our course of risk insurance is. I believe there's about 66 counties in these programs right now. So we got some leverage buying that gives us a little bit of a bicep when it comes to negotiating the price.
Just one of the many things CCO was good for, hopefully, because I'll be down there twice this week.
Wow.
Thursday and Friday. So, I miss Ted. Not that I don't love you, Sharon, but.
Yeah, but last week, Commissioner Lundy and I had to sit through 5.5 hours of a lot of pontification at NOACA, so we don't feel too sorry for you.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Airport approved modification number 3 to Richland Engineering Limited's contract in the amount of $120,570 for the engineering services to rehab taxiway A, C, and D. Modification shall be to provide ongoing construction services, construction observation, construction administration, and record drawings, and construction administration services are eligible for this reimbursement from the FAA at 90%, State of Ohio at 5%, and leaving the remaining 5% at $6,028.50 as a local share.
So move.
Second,
Discussion.
can't beat bringing that kind of money
Right.
to Lorraine County, right?
Well,
5 cents on the dollar?
remember when people look at the budget for the airport, they'll see a budget that varies between $650,000 and $1 million. The great bulk of that comes from two sources, the FAA, three-source FAA, Department of Transportation, that does give us also additional money there, and growing corn.
Yeah.
I think growing corn actually is pretty close to being the second one after the FAA assistance to the airport. I think we make about $140,000 now. And we're out, we're out for bid right now for the farmland out there. So that'll be out for a little while. It's going to be a very competitive process. The Lorraine County Airport farming area is one of the largest contiguous areas in Lorraine County. The airport is the largest contiguous piece of property in Lorraine County, and the farmland out there numbers somewhere around 700 acres to be farmed. So that's where we get a lot of resources from.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Approve agreement with Richland Engineering Limited for engineering services for the taxiway A and B lighting improvements in the amount of $70,441 plus $250 for reimbursable expenses funded by fiscal year 2019 Ohio Department of Transportation grant, and the services are eligible for reimbursement from ODOT at 95% state and 5% local share.
So move.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Job and Family authorized purchase service agreement with Northern Ohio EMS Academy, North Ridgeville, in the amount of $3,000 to provide CPR and first aid training classes to the employees effective March 20th through December 31st, 2019, and authorized director to execute on behalf of the Board of Prosecutors approve as to form.
So move.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Authorized purchase with ES Consulting of Ontario, Ohio, in the amount of $15,600 to provide Microsoft Access programming and form development effective retroactive to March 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2019, which has a one-year renewal clause. Authorized director to execute on behalf of the Board of Prosecutors' approval as to form.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Authorized renewal of agreement with U.S. Securities, Inc. in the amount of $49,500, effective retroactive to January 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2019, and authorized director to execute on behalf of the Board of Prosecutors' approval as to form.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mrs. Sueda.
Aye.
Workforce Development, authorized said payments to be made for various programmatic and administrative costs, including but not limited to individual training accounts, on-the-job training, supportive services, and youth incentives that are available through the TANF funding effective retroactive to October 1st, 2018 through September 30th, 2019.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
Is this something new? This workforce development?
Well, you know, it's in the CMAP. The it's shifting sands with what we can do with the funds to enhance those. Job and Family Services still does quite a bit of workforce training themselves, as you saw and you'll probably speak to in your comments later this morning. But this allows us to give assistance and enhance things like gas cards, repair work. It doesn't do us any good to have somebody enrolled in an education program and their 27-year-old car, the muffler fell off it, and they can't get the training. So there is program funds available. I can't specifically speak to these targeted ones. I didn't look at it. This is about 2 weeks ago. I went through this, so excuse me, but without specificity, it provides assistance to those people who are actively engaged and improving their situation so they can lead themselves to self-sufficiency.
When we were there yesterday, they talked about the computer training.
Yes.
And at the end of that training, they get a actual refurbished computer, which I knew
Yes.
we did that years ago, and we were actually giving them out at the collection center.
We haven't done that now for a number of years for various reasons. We were in a cooperative with the college, I would say for 6, 7 years. They're not actually, there was some issues with the hard drives and different things with the computers, so they exited the program. It wasn't really our end of it. And anytime they want to start that back up again, we certainly can work with them. The computers they're more using now are the ones that go through all the labs and so forth. I think you were pretty impressed to see all our labs yesterday in
Wow,
training
yeah.
facilities. I'm sure, like I said, you'll talk through your comments. It's not an unusual thing because some people require that to go in the job, especially in advanced manufacturing, that where the CAD training and all that's being right now is really a hot industry. So keeping these at-risk groups on track sometimes only requires a minor amount of assistance, but it causes a huge amount of problem in their life. For want of a $20 gas card, so that they can put a little gas in the tank and get where they need to go, whether it be a job site or to their educational obtainment goal. And we cannot allow an insignificant barrier to become a major hurdle for these people while they're really putting a lot of effort into to becoming self-sustained.
Thank you.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Engineer advertised for bids for Atkins Road Bridge 0010 Columbia Township Replacement Project. Notice to be in the Chronicle on March 15th and 22nd and open at 2 p.m. on April 2nd. And engineer's estimate is $402,700.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mrs. Sueda.
Aye.
Public comment.
Anyone wishing to address the board this morning? Morning, Jerry. If you'll just state your full name and where you
Morning,
live.
Commissioners. Jerry Donovan, 5109 Oak Hill Boulevard, Lorraine. I wanted to make some comments in regards to the proposed merger of the mental health and the drug and addiction. And I would like to say that I support both those, by the way. I support most levies. But when I first read about it, in all honesty, I thought it was a rerun of the time that the public had rejected the tax increase and that it was imposed. And I thought, oh God, here we go, another money grab at the commissioners. But then as I got into a little more research on it, I figured, no, maybe this is something that they want for the benefit of the community. And I realized that, I believe that the money that went for mental health that was approved for it was kind of dedicated, so that wouldn't be the issue. So then I had to look at it and ask about what's the best way to bring this about. We have 87 other counties that have already done it, I believe. So we've got 87 points of reference that we can go to. But I also concluded that one of the problems, and I'm not going to, I say this with respect, that we have in the perception of the public is the involvement of commissioners, other proxies. And rightly or wrongly, that goes with the business, I suppose. You're going to be blamed for everything, and everything negative is going to be thought. So I thought that the best way to bring this about, one, first of all, would be by having public forums to bring up the public's point of views, and two, was an involvement of the two existing boards in terms of giving resolutions or whatever was necessary to bring about the most successful way of launching this new merger. And basically what I'd say is that the less involvement of the commissioners, and I said respectfully, are their proxies, and the more involvement of the current boards, I think would lead us to perhaps having a greater chance of succeeding with this new board, which I sincerely hope and believe is going to eventually be in the best interests of the Lorain County citizens. So, but I wanted to just give my perspective on it and point out that what I started out thinking about, I'm kind of looking at it with a more open mind, but I also hope that the commissioners look at it with a more open mind, not coming in, handing it as a fait accompli, and saying, this is it, now, this is what we're going to do, and you can have input. There's a heck of a lot of difference from having input and having resolutions on it. And I want you to kind of give a lot of consideration to what the two boards have to say, and not necessarily what you personally think. And I don't say that in a disrespectful manner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Morning, Jim.
Good morning, Commissioner. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
My name is Jim Sloan. I live at 1504 Park Avenue here in Elyria, Ohio. First of all, I'd like to thank the commissioners for the resolution for the Lordstown plant, and even though that's still a fight and still we got a long way to go. Don't want to insult anybody in here, but if you voted for Trump, shame on you. This is the problem. This is the problem we're having. But that's not why I'm here. But I wanted to thank you, because if I come here and bitch at you, I want to come here and say thank you, okay? But I have the same concern about the mental health board and the drug board. Is that how we're going to combine them, how we're going to do it? And I saw in this morning's paper, you know, it's not quite put together yet. It hasn't come together yet. But let me just say this, and I agree with Jerry, is that we need to have both. My opinion is that we need to have both board chairman, presidents, whatever they are, of the boards come together. I don't know either one of them very well. Come together with not, what is there, 18 on each board? You don't need 36 people in the room. Right. You only need about 4 good people off each board. They're all good people, but 4 people that would be dedicated to that amount of time. Sit down with them and work out something to bring back to you guys as the commissioners, and to Mr. Cordez, because his name gets thrown around a lot about, you know, what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. Because the first time, and here's my concern. Mental health runs in my family, so that's real close to me. And if any of you in this room, you have drug addiction in your family, that's very close to you. It's very personal. And I'll tell you, it's something you don't get over very easily. So what I would like to see is, I'd like to see this, I'm not opposed to the boards coming together. I think it's a great idea, because we can save some money, we can do some good things. I'm very concerned about who's going to run it, because someone that's in charge of mental health may not be really up to par on drug addiction. Drug addiction can't run mental health. And for anybody that thinks that everybody that has a mental health problem has a drug addiction problem, you're wrong. That's not true. 5 members of my family went through mental health. None of them are on alcohol. None of them are on drugs. So that, I would stand and argue that point. But I'm going to make this real quick because I know I got 3 minutes, but probably over. But anyway, first of all, if we don't hit the deadline and hit it right, you have people from the mental health board. They're not going to have doctors. They're not going to have medications. They're not going to have rides. They're not going to have a place to stay, because these are all things that the mental health board does for people with mental health problems. They make sure they have doctor's appointments at NORD. They make sure they get their medications on time. They have their doctors. If they don't have a place to stay and they're homeless, they find a place for them to stay. If we don't hit this correctly, and I'm not here criticizing, I'm here asking for help, that we hit this target, hit it on time, and make sure that no one is left behind in this. Because someone with a mental health problem or drug addiction problem, if they miss 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days, you could upset them for months and months and months and months. And with that, I would ask the commissioners and Mr. Cortez to please come together, put together, let the boards do their job, come together, bring back a recommendation to you guys, and let's make sure we're not talking politics. We're not talking about I like you, you like me. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about people's lives, and those are so important. And I would beg you guys this morning, plead with you guys this morning, to make sure we don't hurt one person out there in the community because we failed to do our job. Okay? And I'm willing to help in any way we can. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay. Any others wishing to make public comment this morning? Seeing none.
Mr. Cortez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I do have one issue from the floor, and I apologize to the board for doing that, but I need to get a change order approved because we're pushing some timelines. Don, this is the stream restoration that you asked for. I have the collaterals here if you want to pull from these so you can explain it to the board, and I got a little show and tell.
What you'll have before you is a...
Well, they don't have anything before them. I only have...
what they will have
Oh,
before
okay.
is a small change order for totaling about $3,384.90 on a roughly $600,000 project. This is for the Lake Avenue stream restoration. And the results of the change order were actually finding some bad soils that we thought when the plan was designed weren't going to be there, that we would have been able to use to build the berms. So what became a zero sum on soil, we ended up having to pile the bad soil, and we're spreading it on a piece of property that actually the Port Authority acquired for us and demolished a house. And so we're going to spread that bad soil down and plant it with grass. The other additional work item is to remove what was a steel culvert that was partially hidden, and once we were done with the work, we revealed it, and we have this big rusty piece of steel sitting in the ditch. So we'd like to remove that out, dispose of it properly, and put some bank stabilization in. And then the fortunate thing that happened during this construction project is we were able to non-perform one item. We are filling in a lot of ditches. We relocated the stream and created sinuosity in order to create that natural stream bed. We were going to harvest the gravel that was in the bottom of the ditch. When we were building the channel, there was a lot of gravel already within the soil. The bedrock is very close to the ground or to the surface there, and so there wasn't a need to do that, and so we non-performed that. So the total difference in charge is $3,384.90, and then there's a map that shows where we spread the soil and an approximate location of where we'll be seeding as well.
While you give those to the board, I'll wait. Sorry. I didn't look at this till last night, so I apologize.
That's okay.
I know we're pushing time frames. Who owned the culvert? Was it a culvert just across that easement road underneath, or was it along the
it was
easement of the railroad
actually
track?
in the old subdivision.
Okay.
It was actually up against the one road.
Going into the back there? or
Yeah,
won't-
so
is
it was
that-
kind of on public land, for lack of a better word. It was in the right of way.
Okay, and we're doing erosion control on that, and we think that'll take the place of the culvert?
Right, we'll be putting in some large rock to kind of pack it in, and then eventually it'll get grown over with.
I went by
different
there last
greenery.
night, and so I saw that the house was down, which
Yes.
has improved that area
Yeah,
immensely.
Pat did a great job.
It was,
Is the house down?
yes, on the corner of
Lake Avenue?
Elyria Avenue and Lake Avenue. It's been everything imaginable in the last 30 years, but aesthetically pleasing. But I did see a lot of foundation debris still on the site.
Yeah, they still have some cleanup to do. Pat and I have been talking. There was also some tires that were found, so we informed Solid Waste once
Well,
the contractor is done.
I told them those tires were back there
Yeah.
with that. They removed all the old camper and the lean-to and all that in the back. I didn't go in the back end of the property.
Yeah, all that's there now is what looks to be some trash that may have kind of gotten away when they were hauling much of the building away.
Okay.
The last I saw, the boat was still back there. That's a
Yeah, is that
titled
all
item.
coming out as part of the contract?
Yes. It's just the boat's a little more difficult because it's a titled item like a car, so there's a longer process behind.
Are we going to gate that easement? Are we able to gate that easement?
We
along
have a
the
gate
road?
that we're installing near the back of the property so that people won't be able to get around it. And that way, too, we're not infringing on the railroads right away.
Yeah, because that's an easement on their property, right where our
Correct.
road is. Okay, those were just some minor questions.
Yep.
I didn't want to go further in the back last night, but I did see the debris up front this morning. Commissioner, this is really a very, very small change order, and we've done more improved work there, and that was one terrible-looking property for as long as I can remember on that corner. While there's still some foundation block there, it's already a mess.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very pleasing view going through there. Once it grasses over and grows, it's going to be nice. And one of the initiatives I want to talk to Metro Parks after we get done about how to use these stream restoration areas maybe for a nature trail and things like that, because we're going to have two big ones.
Yes.
That we're working on. So right now we just got to finish the project, then we can have conversation about how maybe to incorporate that into some kind of trails brochure or something like that, so we can allow some limited access. Great job.
Thank you.
So I would ask that you consider the
Okay,
change order.
yeah. I'll make the motion that we approve the change order for the amount of, was it $3,380.90?
$4.90.
I'll second.
Anything further? Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
I yield to council.
Ms. Ennis.
I have a couple of pending litigation issues. I'm not sure if they're the same ones Jim has, but I may need to discuss those with you in executive session.
Commissioners report.
Well, last Wednesday after our board and executive session, I went over to the Board of Elections and had the opportunity to swear in Paul Adams, our director. He's been doing such a great job for the last 8 years, and I'm sure he will continue to do good work for us. I also got to see all the new equipment, the voting equipment that has been delivered there, and there's a ton of stuff. They need a lot of space to save.
I'm working on it,
I
Commissioner.
know you are.
I'm working on
I know
it.
you are. And then Thursday, we're supposed to have just a meeting, Mr. Cortez and I and the mayor of Avon, Mayor Jensen, to talk about transportation issues. Ended up that Mayor Zilka and Mayor Hunter also came, and we had, the police chief and fire, a lot of people ended up showing up.
I only had it booked for a half an hour. We were there for 2.5, 3 hours.
But you know what? There was a lot of good information that we shared, because there's a lot of businesses coming to Avon Lake and Sheffield Village, and they're having trouble filling those positions, so they're trying to figure out how to get people from Lorraine and Elyria to that area. And of course, transportation is a huge barrier for a lot of people. So that'll be the first of many meetings, I hope, and you guys will be invited to come as well, because boy, they gave us a nice lunch, didn't they? That was.
Well, there's a new place that opened up down in the, let's put a plug in,
Go
down in the Avon, Old Town, right adjacent to Strip where the Clifton Barn is. Ron Lawson's opened up like a deli sandwich place down there, and where they're doing like briskets and things like that.
Corned beef.
It's really a unique undertaking. The food was amazingly
Give us
good.
a sample of, think of everything in the store.
So, plug for local guys trying to make it happen. Ron's been a fixture over there. As Mr. Jensen, Mayor Jensen said, he sometimes can be angry about things, but he's trying to make things happen.
That's right. That's right.
But I think we've impressed them pretty much about the unique collaborations we have with regard to how we're teasing federal dollars against federal dollars to get leverage money into transit. And a lot of the things we're doing with transit that are unique, that are really challenging, that people really are not aware of. I thought that they came away from the meeting with a very, very good feeling about the collaborative and thinking about how they can be part of that conversation to move forward. And I was really pleased when Mayor Jensen said, we have to put some money where our position is. And so I want to continue that dialogue and follow up with that. I don't want to lose that forward inertia that we have with regard to possibly collaborating with more cities like we do with Oberlin, with a little bit of money to bring back a whole lot more money.
Right, yeah. And I think there's a lot of information they weren't aware of, and they're excited about the prospect of working together on those issues. So, and then, as we said earlier, Mardi Gras at Lorraine County Community College Saturday night was such a good time. The food was amazing. The band, Terrence Simeon and his band, were outstanding. I really didn't know what to expect, and I was blown away. They were really good. They were a lot of fun. They just make you happy. They're just happy people. So, congratulations to our staff and everybody that put that together. It was a really, really good time. Let's see that. And then Monday, Mr. Challenger and I had a conference call with LEEDCO, which is Lake Erie Energy Development Corporation. They've been working for a long time on trying to put wind turbines in Lake Erie off of Cleveland, about 8 miles out. It was a 2-hour call. But first of all, they need to get past the permitting process, which is a very big hurdle. And believe it or not, some of the biggest hurdles are birds and bats. Right, Mike? So I'm going to leave that lead code to Mike Challenger to work on. He's been engaged with them for quite a number of years. So. And then yesterday we had a conference call with Maryhaven. They're in the Columbus area, and they opened up a facility similar to Recovery One that we were trying to do. So they gave us a lot of good information on what to do and where we should go. And then, as we alluded to earlier, we all toured Job and Family Services, Jobs Ohio, and the Child Support Agency over on 254. And you would be surprised by the outside of the building. It doesn't look quite as big, but the place is humongous inside, and it's clean and it's nice, and everybody seemed to be happy working there, and it was a nice tour. So
nice environment.
Very nice environment.
I don't recall since we renovated anybody being out to the workforce development. I could see the look on your faces. We got some really good stuff happening out there.
We do.
And
you want to talk about the new kiosk machine?
we can at Job and Family Services. I think we have a representative from Job and Family Services here. Don't we? Usually do it.
And don't we have one at the college also, the kiosk?
It's not up yet.
It's not up yet?
Jennifer, you want to talk a little bit about that? The one at the college, with the changes that have come with the library, with the building of the new Elyria Library, they've actually parted ways on the joint library, and it's now just the college bass library out there. So there's some renovations going on and a bit of a changes. So we're looking for the right space so that the kiosk is in a private location. So before Jennifer talks, let me just say what our goal with the kiosks out at the college is, because this is a new initiative. Lots of people at the college are eligible for benefits to assist them that they may not go out to 254 for or know that they're eligible. They don't really want to go out there and find out if they're eligible. The kiosks will enable them to load in their information and do the things out there and see if they're eligible for some assistance to make their life easier. The biggest one would be SNAP assistance. As you know, we're a food challenged community. There's a lot of hunger in this community. Right behind addiction services, mental health services, I want to say is food services. Really, quite frankly, it's a dire problem, and all we have to do is talk to the folks at Harvest for Hunger who do an amazing job in our community and are great people. We want those people knowing what they're eligible for, and it begins with first getting your data in there. So we're going to do the kiosks at the college because there's a huge community for us to reach there, and then I'll leave it there.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning. Good morning.
Jennifer Key from Job and Family. The kiosk went in shortly a couple months ago, and it's done a wonderful job at helping take time away from the front desk. Clients come in and they can actually apply for services, send in documents, and they all self-scan. It's a learning process for our clients. A lot of them haven't worked with computers or kiosks before, so we do keep staff up there to be able to help them get things processed quickly. 2 days ago, the line out the door was crazy, and we had staff really just attack that kiosk and just scan, and we were through 40 people in probably about 20 minutes. So it's reducing time for clients and speeding things up for our staff as well.
Good.
Nice.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
And if I can add, I think I was especially impressed with the idea. First of all, a lot of folks don't know, they work extended hours, certain evenings of the week. They're there till 6:30. They have, in addition to the kiosk, their help centers where there are job postings, where there is the ability with an attendant to create job applications, resumes, and pull information from. There are enough computers there that I would think they don't have a backup of clientele waiting. It's just very user-friendly. And a good opportunity for those who need assistance.
Yeah.
They need to explore everything that's being offered out there.
Yeah. Actually, I'm done with my report, so
You're
if you
done,
want to go
okay.
ahead.
Yeah, no, it's really important for those who are looking for work or for those who feel that they're underemployed to get in the Ohio Means job system. Ohio, some of the statistics show there's probably as many as 20,000 jobs that continue to go unfilled day in and day out in Ohio. Some of that is due in part to a skills gap. But if you want to be matched up with an employer, I know when I was in the legislature and to this day, employers are told you've got to submit your information to Ohio Means Jobs. It's kind of a, was it monster.com on steroids? And but it's local jobs, it's state jobs, and or jobs within the state, I guess I should say. And so for those looking for work, it's well worth the time. Staff will give you the assistance. I'm always amazed by the people I talk to, and I encourage them to go over there, and they tell me they haven't been over there, they thought about going over there, but you literally need to make the trip if you want to invest in your future. And we'll help you. We'll help you get into the system. We'll give you guidance on a resume. There's job training dollars that are available. So the opportunities are there, the funding's there, the assistance is there.
When you say, and can I expand upon that just for a second? I want to hitchhike on your conversation, not steal it. It's not just job training. There's money for college degrees available. Look, This is federal monies that come into our community vis-a-vis the state agencies. If we don't spend it here, it goes someplace else. I'd rather see our workforce better prepared to compete going forward. So when I think people think a little bit about job training as you go learn how to do one X thing. But no, this could lead right down the road to different degrees. We have people that we service that have associate's degree, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, GEDs, and some that are working on GEDs. So it's a cross spectrum of people we serve. We serve about 12% of dislocated veterans at the facility. The resources that are available are immense, but you have to immerse yourself in those to be able to receive any results. And of course, one of the biggest barriers that Commissioner Kokoski and I were talking to the eastern suburb cities on was transportation issues with regard to getting people to those jobs. There's a lot of jobs right now on the east side of Lorain County that they're having a hard time filling because they can't fill them from the local community, and transportation has become a significant barrier to those folks getting to work. So we have to bring that whole thing all together. And you were seeing it there at the Workforce Development Agency. And after we get some more resources into recovery services and the philosophical thinking that we're going to do with Lorraine County Services. We need to go back to the transit conversation. It's still there. It didn't go away because we don't have resources. In fact, it's getting worse. But please come out to the job, to Ohio Means Job. I still call it the Workforce Development Agency. I'm sorry. That was a branding the state took over, but it's still a local resource, a locally operated, and of course, it's an agency under the Board of Commissioners that provides those services in conjunction with about 12 other agencies under that roof. So, didn't mean to steal your conversation.
And I would also urge folks to please contact Lorraine County Community College. They have a great initiative right now where you can get certification, I believe, in the medical field, the technical field, maybe even HVAC-related type work.
Well, advanced manufacturing is where it's at.
Right. And so there's even dollars that are available to pay for you, and this is an accelerated certification, so you could get in there, you could get the training, you could get the certification, you could get out there into the workforce.
Well, the men's training is kind of funny because you see those people, and they're scrubbed out like they're in an operating room when they're in there working, and they're actually applying and working in the technology as they train on the technology for their certification. It takes about 18 months to get that. But it does lead to a degree. But I'm always amazed at when I get to see the pictures, or I go out there and I look through the door and they're all in the mask and the scrubs and everything out there. That's where advanced manufacturing is going right now, and especially the MIMS technology.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we have one of the most affordable community colleges in the country. So there's I always tell people, just go and take one class, just get started, get a taste of what it's like. And I wouldn't be here today without a 4-year degree had I not had the opportunity to first go to the community college. So I'm
Can I just jump in?
Sure.
The college is now doing training for welding at the CBCF.
Yes, yes. Trying to bring, this is the Mohammed in the Mountain conversation. If there's enough folks that can make it worthwhile, the training will be exported. I think you learned yesterday the Aspire training was being done over at Workforce Development. We had that one big room. I actually forgot that the college was operating in that room for the Aspire program. So unique relationships are developed all the time. At one time, we had a distant learning here at the county admin building. We just didn't have enough saturation and density of use, so it had to go by the wayside. But they will move the classroom if there's enough volume to do so.
Sorry.
No, yeah, so there's, people always want to talk about jobs in Lorraine County. How you say we've got the pathway to get you there. It's just a matter of coming to the table and working with us to get you there. So attended the NOACA, the MPO meeting on Friday with Administrator Cordez, and we spent a lot of time working on a resolution on the fuel tax for Ohio.
How long did we talk about
that? Long time. Imagine having over, 40, 50 people working on amending a resolution. It was quite an exercise. But nonetheless, we figured that one out. Governor obviously is looking for an 18 cents increase in the motor tax, the fuel tax. The legislature wants to try to, cut the baby at 10.7 cents. We see this happen a lot in Columbus. And there's also some talk of reducing income tax to make up for an increase in the fuel tax. So that's fewer dollars that come to local government, fewer dollars available for your schools, which means more levies for everybody. So we need to change that direction. But stop and think about it. If you remember, it seems like so long ago that Katrina hit New Orleans. George Bush was just starting his second term in office, and LeBron James, a young basketball player, is in his second season, I think, at the time. Well, that was 2005. That was the last time that Ohio passed a fuel tax. So just as a frame of reference, how long it's been since that has occurred. But obviously, we're hopeful that the governor will get what he is seeking because it's so badly needed. And obviously, the legislature is working on more money for transit. We're the 14th highest user of transit in the country. However, we're funded at 45th out of 50 states when it comes to transit funding. So we need to do better, and it's a jobs issue, as we've talked about. We have employers all the time talking about the inability to get workers to work. I would just ask them that the next time that we have a transit levy, that you please not run and hide. that you actually come out and be part of the grassroots effort to get that approved, and all of our elected officials too. Nobody likes to be tied to any kind of tax increase, but if we want to get people to work and you're really committed to getting people to their jobs, you need to come out and support the next time we move forward with that initiative. Just want to thank our Visitors Bureau and Lorraine County Community College, everyone involved with the success of our Mardi Gras event and our Mardi Gras evening, and Terrence Simeon and his group. You know, folks from New Orleans are just so humble. They just want to play their music. They want to make sure you're having fun. They want to make sure you've been fed, the food's good. But he even gave everybody the opportunity to kind of hold his Grammy Award, which is pretty humble. If I won a Grammy Award, I can tell you, folks, it'd be in a case somewhere. I don't think I'd just be taking it on the road with my luggage and just letting everybody hold the Grammy Award.
He's got two.
Yeah, exactly. But it's quite heavy. But it was just really, really great to see them. Good entertainment, very humble people. The Lorraine County Community College Vision Session, which took place on Monday. That was session number 3, I believe. I think there's one more to go. But yes, it was talked about transit and the importance of transit and getting people to school and to work.
Did it come up out there?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. It comes up in pretty much every community conversation that we're involved in. So the legislature has made some changes that give us, different options to work with, and those are ones that we definitely need to explore. Solid Waste Policy Committee met. I was disappointed to hear that Republic and folks running the landfill are not showing up for those meetings to give us any updates on the landfill, so we've made a request that hopefully that'll change. We need to, that's a very important responsibility that's in our county, and we want to make sure things are being done right, so we're going to be sending a letter to make sure that they attend those meetings and give us updates on the landfill. I think they've missed a lot of meetings over the years, or just simply haven't been there. So that'll need to change. Enjoyed the tour of the Jobs Family Services, Jobs Ohio. We have a dedicated staff over there. I got to tell you, they've got a hard job to do. The state, at least the previous administration, did not make their job any easier. They would put things in place, and even if they weren't working, they said just do them. And even if it made the clients uncomfortable, made the workers uncomfortable, they still had to carry that ball forward. But so hopefully the new administration will be willing to make some adaptations so things are better for the clients, things are better for the workers. But we have a dedicated staff over there that's always ready and willing to help in any way that they can. Looking forward to later today meeting with the new Ag Director, Dorothy Polenda. Had a chance to actually serve with Dorothy in Columbus when she was a state representative. I think folks today will be very impressed. She's a very, very smart lady, very professional, good people skills, and was always willing to work with people on both sides of the aisle, and I think she'll serve the state well as the new Ag Director. Probably in the next couple of weeks, I'll be asking my colleagues to consider a resolution now that we've learned that the Trump administration once again is opposing the funding that's needed for the Great Lakes Restoration Fund. That fund's around $300 million. I think in the first budget he was proposing $30 million. We were able to get that restored, and it looks like he's looking at making that cut again. And we know how important the lake is to our county, to our area, to our citizens, and to our future. So we're certainly going to have a discussion about whether there's board support to do a resolution on that. And as it relates to the board merger, we continue to have conversations. I've talked with a lot of people in the community. I will tell you that overwhelmingly the feedback I'm getting is very supportive. Talk about a merger, and I shouldn't say talk anymore, the merger that will take place on or before July 1 is going to happen. And, I just want everybody to be aware that the boards have obviously had discussions about this over the years. There's minutes of all the combined board meetings. It seemed like the Mental Health Board was more interested in doing it than the Addis Board was, but it was just basically talk, and we weren't seeing the action. But this is going to benefit the community in the long run. I think even the story you saw in the paper today by the two respective leaders, Director Kathleen Kern with the Mental Health Board said for a long time our Mental Health Board has been interested in moving towards integrated care so we can treat the whole person. We believe if the merger is done well, it could be very good for our community. And then Elaine said with the consolidation that's moving ahead, if we can take the best of the best from both boards, it'll be a really good benefit for our community, not only for the individuals we serve, but for their families and ultimately our communities. That's really what this is all about, and that's what it's all about. It's making sure that we have a well-functioning board that truly serves the families and those in need here in our county. That completes my report.
And if I can add to that, I've heard from law enforcement, I've heard from local judges. Everybody really feels that this was long overdue. So in that regard, I'm excited that we're going to begin to make that a reality. My report on last Friday, I was able to attend the North Ridgeville State of the Schools address. Their middle school choir was second only to their high school group. We've had the opportunity of watching them perform now in several settings, and there are a lot of good things happening in the North Ridgeville schools system. What's interesting is they are like the second fastest growing city in Ohio, and given that population somewhat explosion, the schools have to adapt as well, and it looks like they're doing a really good job of not just meeting that, but planning toward their future.
I think they're nominated one of the safest communities too, are they not, Mr. Cortez? You live in North Ridgeville.
They were. There's been a few happenings in the last 2 years or so with some homicides there, so they may have lost that. But about 3 years ago, they were named one of the 30th safest communities to live in the United States.
Yeah, I think there's I think there's actually a new report out that was showing that they are ranked, I think, in the top 10. I think Avon Lake was in that top 10 as well,
They
too.
had
I
two
don't know if that's
murders
just in the
last
state of
year out
Ohio,
there,
right.
so I thought maybe that dropped them out.
Cortez moves in and.
Yeah,
oh,
my end of
goes
the
to
community is
heck.
safe, his end of the community.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Also, in just backing up on the Mardi Gras event, not to lose sight, the Saturday evening was just a grand event. It was so well attended, everybody had fun, but I think backing up to that, we had the opportunity of putting a focus on a lot of the participant vendors, and that was fun. I would go in and visit with them, thank them for their participation, and most of them did express the affirmation that they were seeing increased foot traffic from it. So hopefully that will grow and be a bigger event next year. I want to thank Budget Director Lisa Hobart, who's been helping me with budget training, and we're digging in from A to B to Z so that I can become more versed, more astute on how our budget runs, and in her pending retirement, hopefully I'll be able to have a comfort level there that we won't have to call her 24/7.
I lose my number.
Yes. Sunday I was doing some door knocking, and I'm just going to do a little shout out to Joe and Donna Malik, who said they watch our meetings every week.
Oh, wow.
Sunday, I had the opportunity to distribute the awards for the Voice of Democracy over at VFW 1079. Just a very talented group of young adults who participated in that. And one of the things I shared with them, when you use the word voice, you have to remember voice encompasses more than verbal skills. It's your actions, it is what you print, and it is what you say, and I encourage them to continue to develop that voice. On Monday, I attended with Commissioner Lundy the LCCC Vision 2020, and it's always just amazing to me to see how progressive our community college is. I remember a time when it started, and one of the things we shared at our roundtable was the fact that many of the folks in the community, their perception of LCCC really rest in their last contact. And if that contact's been 5 years or 10 years, they are really missing it. They need to get out there and revisit and re-explore LCC, because it is not the college of 20 years ago or even longer. Yesterday, Sheriff Stamiti gave me a tour of, he and his staff, an extensive tour of the facility and the county jail, shared with me everything from auto repair to challenges they're facing and the triumphs that they have out there, and they're doing just a wonderful job. also attended the Job and Family visit, as I said. And one last plug for County Prosecutor Dennis Will on St. Patrick's Day. They are issuing Arrive Alive, which is a service for transportation. Drivers, if you're going to participate in the green beer and everything else that goes on St. Patrick's Day, they're offering rides, and encourage your friends and relatives not to drive after their celebrations. It's a free service. So thank you. That's my report.
Let's see, Thursday at 10 o'clock, we'll have our land bank meeting for correspondence.
Move that the reading of correspondence be waived.
Second?
Discussion. Mr. Lundey.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
Seeing no other business at this time, I would move that we go into executive session for the reasons stated by the county administrator and by the assistant county prosecutor.
Second?
Mr. Lundey.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Sueda.
Aye.
This has been a broadcast of the recent Lorraine County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.